Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another show on the channel. Lots going on with Onana, positive updates from good sources, reliable sources. As confirmed in today's video earlier, Man United put in a bid for Onana, which was £39 million, which is 45 million euros, which is 15 million euros of Inter's valuation, and Inter rejected that bid. However, Inter are asking for 60 million euros, which would include add-ons, but it has said that Inter are willing to compromise, and potentially if United's bid reaches maybe the 50 million euros or just over the 50 million euro mark, a deal could be agreed and accepted. United playing the FFP game. Well, we've got Henderson and De Gea to bring back negotiation tactic, but the feeling is from very reliable sources another bid from Man United is going to come in the coming days that will probably be maybe £39 million plus a £5 million in add-ons, which is believed that Inter are more likely to accept. I think Inter will accept something around about £40 million with 5 million add-ons, they believe. It has been said by good journalists, Inter willing to compromise, and Inter to United could move quickly, and we're going to talk about that, why that's really important. Now, Qatar want the takeover to move quickly. Qatar have been putting out some stories, and I was talking to someone, and they say a lot of this news that's coming out on the Qatar media could be coming out because Qatar are using it as a negotiation tactic. The Qatar are very frustrated with how long the Glazers are taking, and are also trying to push out news to continue pressure on the Glazers to make a decision. But a very interesting story came up from Jamie Jackson today, who actually has got information directly from Qatar and their camp, and we're going to get into that in a second. And then, of course, Amrabat to United. This story's been heating up a while, and while it's not really originated from the best sources, apparently we agreed personal terms, that was not the case. Romano said that's not the case. Better Italian sources are saying, look, United have had contact with Amrabat and there's kind of a verbal agreement there. United have agreed verbally with Amrabat and he would be open to coming, but it's still up to United to make an agreement with Florentina. United ain't going to go and make an agreement with Florentina until Onana's done. That's what they're focusing on. And of course, Mason Mount is a Manchester United signing. So we're going to get through the Mount, Onana, Amrabat, all the news, the takeover news, the situation, a little bit of news on Frankie de Jong to Arsenal, a couple other news topics to talk about, outs and ins, Alanga to Galatasaray, Fred out, Amrabat in. There's actually, I tell you what, today is in terms of news, my notes are unbelievably long of things I need to cover in today's video, because I always like copy and paste key tweets or copy and paste info from key articles I read, and then I put that in a notes section. Very long, so a lot to talk about. So please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new and share the video. Someone in the chat claiming I went to school with them. I didn't go to school with you, because I didn't go to a school called near St Mary's. I don't know what this person's on. I went to school in Cambridge. No idea who that is. I didn't go to that school. Anyway, let's have a look at everybody in the chat. I fear for Ten Hag. I do as well. But I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to be confident. I think Mason Mount, Ten Hag really wanted him. Was Mason Mount my first choice midfielder? No, but Mason Mount is a Man United player now. I'm going to back him. I'm going to be happy with the signing. I'm gonna be positive. I'm not gonna sit there and go, oh, I want to boys Caicedo. We've signed Mason Mount. That's who the manager wanted. He is a good player, you know, and clearly Ten Hag's got a plan for him. So I'm gonna be very positive about the Mason Mount signing. I think the fact that Reece James and all these Chelsea players are writing like, oh, we're gonna miss you, Mason Mount, shows that doesn't happen to many players when they leave their club. Shows how much they liked Mason Mount at Chelsea, how much bigger professional he was. We know what Ten Hag's like. Giving Mason Mount the number 7 clearly rates him highly. We'll talk about should he have been given the number 7 or not later in today's show. I think, you know, Ten Hag almost used Mason Mount as potentially being a bit of an attacking version of Frankie de Jong, could adapt into this player. Ten Hag's obviously done a lot of research into Mason Mount's game, and Mason Mount was offered the same amount of money to stay at Chelsea as United offered him, but he believes Ten Hag will take him to the highest level, and there's definitely really positive energy around Mount to United. And I think, you know what, I was doing some reading, I was doing some research, and I will get into news in just a second. And Onana, Mason Mount are going to allow United to play a very different way. You know, Mason Mount's off the ball qualities is what Ten Hag wants. As Melissa Reddy said, and we spoke about another video, Erik Ten Hag introduced 83 new principles to United, wants to play a certain style of football. Mason Mount's going to allow him to do that. Onana's probably going to have a bigger impact in terms of how we play, higher line, going to be more attacking further up the pitch. But I've been quite negative about the window, because I see like, oh, I want Declan Rice. Oh, he's going to Arsenal. Oh, I want Lavia. He's going to Liverpool. Oh, I want Caicedo. He's going to Chelsea. Newcastle went for Barella at one point. They got Tonali, which he isn't as good as Barella, thank God. But, you know, it is disappointing in the sense that I think our rivals are doing some good business, like Jurian Timber, Kim and Jay lost out on them. The centre-backs we're linked to don't really move me, like Disassi doesn't really move me. But, you know, Mason Mount didn't really move me. But the more and more I've read about it and Ten Hag's plans, the more and more it does. And weirdly, I think Mason Mount and Onana, those two signings, will allow us to play such a better and more modern and adaptive style of game. I think, you know, Mount and Bruno pressing the attackers. I think there's a reason Ten Hag really wants Rasmus Højlund as well because of his off-the-ball ability within the press. We know how important that is to Ten Hag. And I think if we can get Amrabat on top of that, it actually becomes what kind of feels like an underwhelming window. But actually, I think Amrabat, Mount, and Onana would be a really good window on top of a striker. Now, I think Gonzalo Ramos or Kane, I think it just would be more impactful than Højlund. I don't think Højlund's ready, especially at the price that's being quoted. But I think Amrabat is needed for that depth and improvement. Obviously, Mason Mount, vital Ten Hag signing. Onana, vital Ten Hag signing. And if you get a good striker in, I think it could be a good window. You know, I think we can have better windows, of course. I think, you know, the fact that we haven't sold many players is pretty embarrassing. You know, James Trafford 90 million to Burnley, but we can't sell Dean Henderson. You know, you know, we're bad in the transfer window, but it's not looking as bad as I thought it would look at yet. However, we haven't signed Onana yet. I believe we will. We haven't signed Amrabat yet, and Romano said that Amrabat is very much dependent on if they sell one of McTominay and Fred, and it would happen likely in August. And we don't know what the strike situation holds. Now, I do want to talk about Harry Kane later in today's show because United might be making a late move for Harry Kane. And I also want to talk about Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Real Madrid might have to sell a big star later in the show. But we're going to focus on the kind of other news for now as well. We'll talk about Mount number 7 later in the show as well. But keep smashing the likes. Of course, Glazers out in the chat. Frankie de Jong's not going to Arsenal. I don't think he will go to Arsenal, but Arsenal have been linked to looking at de Jong. Don't think it will happen as well. In Ten Hag, we trust, we just chill. Yeah, I trust Ten Hag. I really do trust Ten Hag. I think he's the right guy. And I think, you know, if we give Ten Hag the right backing, the right structure, the right board, the right players, I think Ten Hag can take us to the very top. But I think for that to happen, those at the top need to change. And that would obviously be, those at the top changing would be the owners, followed by the board, etc., etc. as well. You can't compare Mount to Frankie. Frankie's levels above him. You're absolutely right. Frankie de Jong is levels above Mason Mount. I'm just trying to be really positive because Mason Mount's a Man United player. And at least Mason Mount wanted to come as well. Greenwood is reported back in training. He's not been reported back with the United squad. I think an announcement on Greenwood will come by Monday because Monday is when United get ready for the tour. I'd be very shocked if it's not. And, you know, but I'm not interested in talking about that. And if we don't get Qatar and Erik ten Hag has to put up with more transfer windows like this, I think he could leave. Now, I was saying this actually earlier, and I do want to get into the news in a second, but I was saying what I think is interesting is this could be our last ever transfer window with the Glazers. And while Harry Kane seems to be United's #1 priority, and the screen's going to go blurry, isn't it, because of the Wi-Fi, I just said it's bad. So I'll share this tweet because I want to read this out in a second. While the transfer window, it could be the last one under the Glazers. Harry Kane's very expensive, sorry. I think Harry Kane, if he doesn't sign a new contract at Spurs and is still at Spurs, could be dirt cheap in January. So I'm saying if you get Amrabat, Mount Højlund and Onana, and you go, oh, we're going to get Harry Kane in January, you're telling me that's very good. You go into the next summer going, oh, we just need a centre-back and probably a few bits and pieces here. But I'm going to start with the Onana news, then I'm going to get into the Takeover news, and then I'm going to get into the Amrabat news, and then we will talk a little bit about Mason Mount, number 7. Well, I saw this very good tweet here from Ethan, and I wanted to read it out to you guys. Would hope to have Andre Onana as a Manchester United player by pre-season. I always feel as though it's particularly important for goalkeepers to develop relationships with defenders in front of them so that the defensive unit is as cohesive as possible for opening day. Onana is a stark contrast to De Gea too, so it requires some shift in mentality from the defenders, not in a detrimental sense. More lax at times, knowing Onana will be far more proactive. Mason Mount is done, and now ideally the deal needs wrapping up as soon as we can focus our attention on a centre forward, pressingly, sales, so we can deepen our midfield, add a right centre back, etc., etc. So what Ethan is saying essentially is Mason Mount is done. Let's get this Onana deal done and wrapped up quickly. It's very important we have Onana on pre-season because Onana is a completely different style goalkeeper to David De Gea. Onana is gonna, you know, we know about Onana, modern keeper. Is gonna claim crosses. The centre backs can play so much further forward. He's going to sweep. He's going to be better in possession. He's almost going to be like another defender at times. And Martinez and Varane, you know, been used to De Gea for a long time. They might have to get used to this. and it's very important that pre-season's the time to kind of get used to this so you're ready for the season. 100% with that. And once you've got Onana wrapped up, that gives us a good month and a bit to get the sales and get the striker in. Because after Onana, Ten Hag wants another midfielder in Amrabat or Lavia, and he wants another striker, whether that's Højlund, Kane, Ramos, or Kolo Muani. He wants another striker. So the thought process is, you get Onana wrapped up on the plane for pre-season, so we have that time to get Dean Henderson out for hopefully 25 million plus, get McTominay and Fred out, get Elanga out. Potentially maybe someone like Martial. I don't think we're going to be able to sell Martial because he's injured and his wage is ridiculous. But at least raise a couple of money through sales. And then that gives us the funds available to then go and for Amrabat and potentially Højlund. And then, for me, I do think we need another right centre-back. That's going to depend on Maguire leaving. I think, if we can get Højlund, if we can get Amrabat, we can get centre-back in and Maguire out. That's brilliant. Then in January, potentially push for Kane if the funds are there, because Kane might have 6 months left on his contract and Levy might have to sell him for like 40, 50 million, which would be mad. But I absolutely agree with this tweet and this way of kind of saying things as well. But you just never know with Daniel Levy. I don't know if he'd sell Kane for a cut price as well. Continue on. Please do smash the like button. Of course, subscribe down below. Everyone chill out the number 7 shirt. No one has played well with that shirt in ages. Yeah. A lot of people freaking out about giving Mount the number 7 shirt. Would I give a Mount the number 7 shirt? No, I wouldn't have. But would I have given Garnacho the number 7 shirt? No. Would I have given Sancho the number 7 shirt? No. It feels like number 7 should be a winger. Garnacho, Sancho. But look, Garnacho's been rewarded this season with a new contract. I think it was too early to give him the number 7 shirt. I think you say to Garnacho this season, if you have another good season, you can get that number 7 shirt. You're given something to work for. You've already got your new thing. Sancho hasn't done enough to warrant the number 7 shirt. At the end of the day, Ten Hag really rates Mason Mount highly. Mason Mount is Ten Hag's first signing this summer. Maybe it's Ten Hag's way of saying, look, you're important to me. You take the number 7 shirt. Because at the end of the day, has Sancho deserved it? No. Was it kind of destined for Garnacho? Yes. But do we want to get ahead of ourselves and give him the 7 shirt so early? I don't think so. Just because I would have given it to him next summer, if you get what I mean. There's no one that super warrants the number 7 shirt. And I get it's the historic shirt of Beckham, Cantona, Ronaldo, but it's also the shirt of Memphis Depay, Di Maria. You know what I mean? It's a shirt number, to be honest. Honestly, I don't care that Mount got 7. I really don't. I mean, I would have given it to him, but it's a shirt number at the end of the day. Am I really going to be that bothered by it? No. Do you know what I mean? Not at all. So that is my thoughts on the whole situation as well. Nana, or what's my name? Nana. Really not sure what to make on this takeover, Alice. It's depressing and what goes on. It is. Qatar are fed up, so Jim is fed up. Qatar are reportedly leaking stuff in the media to try and put pressure on the Glazers to sell. We will get into that in a second as well. I don't think Frankie de Jong will go to Arsenal, but it is just a rumour floating about. If Amrabat's available for just 25 million, surely with the budget available to us based on recent reports, we can sign Mount, Onana and Amrabat before pre-season tour and focus on Højlund after sales. I agree to be honest, especially because I think those 3 players would have more an instant impact than Højlund. I don't think Højlund's ready-made. I think he's good. He's not ready-made. Kane comes in, boom, instant impact. Højlund, this is a good player. This is a young player, but we're looking at instant impact. I think the other ones do have more of an impact. Mount can technically play left wing, but I think Mount is going in the midfield. I'd be very surprised if we brought Mount to be our left winger and moved Rashford striker. For me, that would not make sense. The way Mount's been talking about is that. Thoughts on Jamie Jackson's recent report about the Glazers possibly not selling and being concerned to Altani? Is this just an attempt from Altani to speed up spell? That's what I think, and that's what I'm going to get into in just a second. Let me make sure no breaking news has come out while I'm live or nothing interesting. And then I'm going to switch into the Onana news here. Just lovely Mason Mount first day at United pictures. Just making sure nothing breaking's coming out. But obviously lovely to see Mason Mount at Manchester United first day here. So I want to get quickly into the Onana news. And then I will go and get into the news by Jamie Jackson. So let me quickly get into the news and then we'll talk about it in more detail. So what was essentially said? It was essentially said, breaking, Manchester United make an opening bid of Onana of 40 million euros plus 5 million in add-ons. Inter want about 60 million. So United made about 39 million bid. Inter want about 50 million, 60 million euros. But, the interesting thing here, there's the expectation a compromise can be agreed. I think United put £45 million in. United bid 39. United put £6 million to that bid and make it 45. I think a deal can be done. It was then came out and said by Romano that negotiations between Manchester United and Inter continue after the 34 million bid plus 5 million in add-ons, taking it to 39 million was rejected. So Romano said our first bid was rejected, which is the bid up on the screen, but talks continue. Romano said it's likely that United will put in a second bid and potentially a compromise could be made. It was also said by Laurie Whitwell that personal terms are unlikely to be an issue with Onana, and he's believed to be open to the move and joining Ten Hag again. Onana actually rejected Saudi Arabia. Laurie Whitwell also said Manchester United are keen to pursue a move for the player, with David De Gea's future at Old Trafford uncertain. De Gea is technically not a United player. TalkSport continued to this news, and TalkSport added that Manchester United's opening bid of around 38 million for Andre Onana falls short of Inter Milan's 50 million valuation, but there's a willingness to reach an agreement on both sides. So again, it said maybe if United can up that bid by another 5 million, the feeling is that something could be agreed. My eye keeps twitching at the moment. It feels like it's pushing. I don't know why. Like, you know, it almost feels like it's pushing forward. It's not going to fall out my eyelid, but it feels like it's pushing forward. I don't know why it's bugging me. So if I keep closing my eye, just ignore that. But Manchester United's opening bid, I reckon they put another 5 to 7 million in, and that is accepted from what I'm hearing. And then Rob Dawson again. You know, the thing about United is when something is actually true, you get Romano say it, you get Ornstein or Whitwell say it, and then you get about 8 other journalists say the exact same thing that these other sources have said, just in different words. So then you have Rob Dawson of ESPN saying talks with Onana's representatives, which started last week, have been productive, and United already made their first bid of 39 million. That was rejected by Inter, and another bid is expected. So, and then other reports saying United are playing it safe with Inter Milan because of FFP reasons, and they want to make sure they don't have to pay more than 50 million euros for Onana because of FFP this, FFP that. That is United games. And then Fabrizio Romano added that Manchester United and Inter have scheduled new direct contacts for Onana, and Inter expect Man United to bid again. Negotiations will continue this week. So quite repetitive from multiple sources, but you know that this is true. You know this is happening. United going to have another bid with Inter going to have another meeting with Inter this week and put in another bid. I think this next bid, unless they go from 39 million to 40 million, will be accepted. 45 million reportedly is the mark it will be accepted. So just bidding another 5, 6, you've got to bid 6 million more. 6 million more. De Gea's wages were 15 million. 6 million more, and that is the deal done. So essentially that's kind of what's being said in the media is another meeting's incoming, and I do think we will get here we go quite soon for Onana. In all honesty, I think there should be a here we go very soon regarding Onana. I'm very behind on the live chat, by the way. I'm 42 minutes in, and we are not 40. I'm at 42 past, and it's 49 past. So let me just scroll down to the bottom of the chat. So if you said something, maybe just repeat it, so I see it again as well. Why can't you offer De Gea plus cash for Onana? Because they don't want De Gea. Not much talk of Koulibaly, but I think he's a super fit. I'm a bit skeptical about him because he's Bundesliga, but I think he is an option as well. I think he's an option. Caicedo's the other one to midfield. We won't get Caicedo. He's going to Chelsea. I wish we did. I wish we got Caicedo, but we won't. We're on 180 likes, so let's go for 200 likes, people. But second meeting with Onana is expected this week as well. It was also said, if I put it in here, it was also said Eric Ten Hag has watched the way Ederson and Alisson have transformed Manchester City and Liverpool and wants a keeper who's similarly comfortable with the ball at his feet. So that, you know, basically saying the sky is blue. We know that. But it was also, someone put something actually. I'm not tweeting my tweet. But it was also said on Onana, again, stating what we kind of know, has unbelievable passing range. I mean, I'm assuming you guys watched the Champions League final and watched how real Onana is. Has unbelievable passing, can beat the press, can play up from the back, integral build-up play, has significant experience in Ten Hag's system. Inter are not in the best financial position. Getting him for 50 million euros would be a steal, which, again, I agree with. Phone's gone bleep, bleep, but I'm going to ignore that. Again, going to have a massive, massive impact on United as well. And I do think, weirdly, the impact Onana's going to have on the way we play in possession is going to be massive. And I think Onana will be the next deal. And as I mentioned earlier in the video when we read out Ethan's tweet, it's really important that we can get this Onana deal done before pre-season. If United can get a deal for Onana done and wrapped up before pre-season, it gives the centre-backs, the players, an opportunity to play with Onana and because it's going to be such a mass difference from David De Gea as well. Onana can pass better than McTominay, but so can my mum. So, you know, Mook sideways. So I'm joking. McTominay ain't that bad. You know what? I said this on McTominay. He needs to go. He's 26. He's had too many chances at United. He's been consistently not good enough for United. But United have misprofiled McTominay his whole career. He is not a 6, and he will never be a 6. Put McTominay in another Premier League club that actually profile him the right way. Let's say West Ham signed McTominay 2 years ago and played him instead of Souček next to Declan Rice. I think McTominay would be a good player, but he's been misprofiled at United. So I want to get into Jamie Jackson's kind of report on Qatar because I was speaking to someone yesterday and they were saying a lot of these reports that have been put out by the Qatar media outlet is potentially the Qatar royal family, Sheikh Yassim, actually saying this to Qatar media to put these reports out because he wants the deal to move along quicker. And if there's reports coming out that's a done deal for Qatar, it's a tactic to try and hurry up the Glazers to making a decision. You know, I'm not saying that is true. I'm just saying that was a theory, a potential thing that was spoken about. But it was said by Jamie Jackson today that Sheikh Yassim bin Hamad Al Thani is increasingly uncertain whether the Glazers will sell Manchester United, with Qatari bankers yet to receive a response to the 5th bid about $6 billion lodged 4 weeks ago. So they're saying they're putting out, and I think this is a negotiation tactic. I think this is a game from Qatar to speed up the takeover and that. Why is my phone going bleep? It usually makes it not important. Yeah, not important. Okay. Anyway, continuing on. Sorry. Sheikh Yassim bin Hamad Al Thani is increasingly uncertain whether the Glazers will sell to United. But Sheikh Yassim's reps have obviously spoken to Jamie Jackson, and they're saying, oh, we don't think the Glazers are going to sell. Oh, we don't think the Glazers are going to sell. I think this could be a negotiation game in the sense of if the Qatar start acting like they're uncertain the Glazers are going to sell, it means the Glazers might be almost like, oh, Qatar think we're not going to sell. Maybe we should have some contact with Qatar and remind them we're going to sell. But potentially what we were talking about is Qatar wanting some clarity. They're not getting the clarity they want from the Glazers. Qatar, also Jim, reportedly are not getting clarity from the Glazers. They're both in the dark over what's happening. And that if they're putting information out like we don't think the Glazers are going to sell, it's been 4 weeks, the Glazers might go back to Qatar and say, look, we are going to sell, and give them some clarity kind of on the situation, which is what was being suggested by sort of people in sort of the space around the deal. It was also said as well by Jamie Jackson, let me get this up here. It was said, Sheikh Yassim and his advisors are frustrated with the pace of the potential transaction, and they are unsure about the American family's intent because there has been no concrete communication regarding the 5th bid from Rain Group. I believe this is true. I believe the stories that keep coming out saying that Qatar's a done deal, what Rio Ferdinand said, I think are false. I think they come out for a reason. I think they come out as a negotiation tactic. But I think Qatar are frustrated, and I think Qatar will be putting out reports now saying we don't think the Glazers are going to sell this and that, potentially again as a way to actually try and get some clarity because there's no communication. Qatar are annoyed because the Glazers aren't communicating with them what's happening. So if they act like they think the Glazers are staying and they're not selling, maybe the Glazers will give them some communication on kind of what's happening in the case as well. I just seen that I've missed a super chat, haven't I? Thank you very much, Paul, for joining the members club. Big up, Paul, there as well. People say British PR. I mean, I don't think it's British PR. I think, look, not this. I've said this before. I said the takeover is very different to the transfer news. The transfer news, we know who's reliable, who's not. Takeover's different to transfers. The best journalists for transfers won't be the best journalists for takeover news. I don't think a lot of those journalists like Laurie Whitwell or Ornstein or Jamie Jackson know that much more than us at the moment, in the sense of they will know it before us and they will get information and they're good journalists. And when it comes to transfers, they'll know a lot more than us. But I don't think in regards to takeover, they know a lot more than us. I think they're in the dark like everyone else. There's only a small percentage of people that really know what's going on with the takeover. And leaks is very hard to happen because it's an American. When it comes to transfers, what I mean is someone will know Mason Mount's dad, or someone will know Mason Mount's brother, or someone will know Mason Mount's agent, and someone will know something about Mason Mount, and that information can get out quite easy. When it comes to takeover news, are many Man United fans going to be, or many football fans, or people with good sources going to be in the loop with the New York Stock Exchange? What goes up at the very top, the Rain Group? No. Any information that is put out by set journalists, particularly United journalists, is information that the Glazers have allowed to be put out, which means it's very much a negotiation tactic. Mike Keegan and Jamie Jackson are believed to have had some contact with Qatar And Mike Keegan definitely has a source that isn't United based, because Mike Keegan's always the guy to come out and stuff. Matt Lawton's of the time obviously has Jim Ratcliffe as his source. There are certain people that I think Matt Lawton's particularly got Jim Ratcliffe inside information. I think Mike Keegan's definitely got some Qatar inside information, but I think with the takeover that no one's really going to know. It's probably going to be broken by Reuters or Bloomberg or a financial outlet, and then you get excited, but then you just have to wait for that Mike Keegan confirmation that the club have also confirmed this. But it is frustrating because I don't think many people really have a strong idea of what's going on with the takeover as well. Nothing will happen. The Glazers will stay. I don't think the Glazers will stay. I've said this for a while. I don't think the Glazers will stay. A Qatar plane landed in New York 4:30 UK time. That's interesting. I think it's like, and there has been a few Qatar like private planes going to London and going to the US. I do think right now all negotiations will be happening in New York. I do think all negotiations will be happening in New York from now on, not London. So, I mean, it's always something to keep an eye on. When the Qatar planes were in London, these bids were coming in. So, you know, it's something to keep an eye on, but you have to be pretty careful as well. I don't understand why this family, they should just come out and speak their mind. If they don't want to sell, just say it and move on. It's the Glazers, though. They just like to play around. It's all about money for them as well. It's all about money for them. The Glazers are the family of circuses. Yeah, circus family. I agree with that there. You know, it's just lots of games being played with this. Lots of games being played with this takeover. The share price has risen to 24. So, yeah, let's have a look at the share price. Man United, NYSE. Let's have a look at the share price. So it's risen today. Well, it's not. Oh, it's very low here. Well, not low. Let's have a look at it over the last month. So yeah, it's continuing to rise. I mean, you know, this is your indication of where it's at, really. You know, the difference in share price when you think it's Sir Jim or Qatar. I mean, look, everyone here thought. Do you remember when we all thought it was going to be Sir Jim? We're looking at about £18. We're now looking at about £24. You know, one of the highest it's been since the 16th of February at 26. Someone must be making some lovely money from this. But, you know, the share price being high again, you know, that's a good indication that, you know, it is going Qatar's way. But again, as I said, I don't know any more than you guys know. I speak to people who are maybe like, when I say I speak to people who have knowledge in like how these big kind of deals go in terms of selling things to stock exchange, like financial people I've spoken to and asked their thoughts. And they say they don't know what's going on, but they would guess that this is happening, and this is happening from what's been put out by the media. Essentially, it's really a bit of a guessing game going on now. Apparently, it's come out. Interesting story that's come out, guys. You can find this interesting. Mason Mount chose United because he believed that United are in a better position to challenge for major honours than Chelsea. That is going to rattle some Chelsea fans as well. On Mbappe, apparently Mbappe has to decide in the next week or two if he's going to stay or leave. You know, PSG getting very frustrated with the Kylian Mbappe situation as well. So that's coming out as well. I'm just trying to see if any interesting bigger news is coming out. I do want to get into the Amrabat news in just a second, among other stories as well. It's a final FU to the fans, just Charlie. I agree as well. People said ignore the share price. I think the share price is, yeah. Rio, you know what? I'm not going to lie. Part of me is like, as Rio brought a load of shares and put out some fake information. Do you know what I mean? Like, part of me was like, oh, could that be a possibility? Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back into the news. Because we got a little bit of news. We've got a little bit of news on Amrabat to United. And United have reached an agreement for Amrabat, which I probably should have said right at the beginning of the video, because it essentially was the thumbnail and title of the video. And we are like 30 minutes in. But what was said on Amrabat to United, I haven't got it on this screen. Let me exit that screen. Let me get my other screen up. Sorry, bear with. So this was said, and it's not the best source in the world. It's a bit of a let's use United and generate as many clicks as we can out of them, but it's not an awful source. It was said Manchester United have already reached an agreement with Amrabat's entourage, but have not yet made an offer to Florentina. They could be convinced with an offer of 25 million. This could be true. I think Ten Hag is likely to have spoken to the player. United is likely to have spoken to his agent and gone, we like Amrabat. Would he be open to joining United? And Amrabat could be like, yes. And United could be like, we're interested in signing you, and then not do anything, wait till August, just because for United to sign Amrabat, they've got to sell players, they've got to raise the money to sign him. I think there is possibility this is true because they're saying, look, United haven't actually gone to Florentina. I think there's, I don't think there's anything official. I think it's more of a maybe United have conversations with Amrabat and there's an agreement that he'd be open to join and they'd like to sign him. 100%, I think that could be possible. But I don't, as it said, they haven't made an offer to Florentina. And for United to actually get the deal done and get the deal sorted, they have to make an offer to Florentina. And Romano said it's very unlikely United will do anything before the end of July. They're very much focused on Onana, and then they're likely to turn their attention to a striker. But United did try and sign Amrabat on loan in January. United obviously have registered an interest in Amrabat, and Amrabat, would be thought to want to join United, obviously. So I think with Amrabat to United, potentially there's conversations there saying, wait around, we'll go for you. Would you want to come to us? But United have not had any talks with Florentina. Once you get news coming out saying, look, United made an offer to Florentina or United have opened talks to Florentina, then I can say, oh, this move could happen. Amrabat right now, I don't know if it will happen. It's, Mount what happened, Onana I'm sure will happen. I think Højlund will happen. I think Amrabat, we've not opened talks with Florentina. We've opened talks with Atalanta. We've opened talks heavily with Inter Milan. We opened talks with Chelsea. I think if it came out in a few days that United wants, let's say we sign Onana, announce him next week, and then a couple of days later it comes out that United have entered talks with Florentina for Amrabat, then I think we're signing Amrabat. This is serious. But I still have to say I'm not going to completely believe the Amrabat news. I'm sure Ten Hag wants him. I'm sure Ten Hag wants another midfielder on top of Mason Mount. But again, nothing's happening with Florentina. Just suggestions there could be an agreement there as well. Continuing on, please do smash the like button. Of course, subscribe down below and share the video as well. People saying, we should rate Mason Mount now as United player. 100%. We've got to back Mason Mount as well. Someone said the plane reg was Sheikh Yassim's plane. So interesting. Rio's a waffler. I think he is. I think Rio has been told something and believes what he's been told. But I think Rio is a difficult one because he said something twice now and nothing's happened. I think Rio is the type of guy that will be told something and believe it. I don't think Rio's made that up. I think Rio has sources. He knows people and he's been told something. But I think, we know what we know with the takeover essentially is Sir Jim and Qatar very advanced in this takeover. They're both in exclusive talks with Rain Group. They're both signing documents. They're both doing final stages for this, final stages of that. Things are going on with Qatar. Things are going on with the Rain Group. Like, we 100% know that. Things are going on with Sir Jim. They've signed documents. They've registered a company in the UK. It's been said that the final documents with Qatar and Sir Jim are being signed off. Basically, Qatar and Sir Jim and the Rain have almost done everything on their side. It's just now up to the Glazers to make a decision. The problem lies is the Glazers need to make a decision. 4 Glazers want Qatar, 2 Glazers want Sir Jim. The 2 Glazers that want Sir Jim are the more powerful Glazers. However, other people are threatening to sue them if they sell to Sir Jim. Lots and lots going on in that kind of situation. So I think, for me, a lot of people are just doing a guessing game. What we know from Reuters, which is top source, is negotiations were going on to bring Qatar into an exclusivity period. Now, the longer and longer this goes on without news of Qatar being in an exclusivity period, it does make you think, has Jim Ratcliffe put in another bid? Have they changed their mind? Could this delay be because they're going to Jim Ratcliffe? You've got to think that's a possibility. The process is described as said that Qatar are 3-2 up in the 89th minute. Qatar seem to be leading, but Jim isn't out of the race. That's how the process has been described. I think Qatar and Sir Jim are very advanced. The Glazers got to talk, and the Glazers have got to decide in the coming days who they're going to put into that exclusivity period. It seems that Qatar are 60-40 compared to Sir Jim, but Sir Jim's not out of the race. And I do think we'll have some clarity in the next week or so. I think we should know by the end of July, because I think the takeover is in those final stages. The Rain Group have done almost everything they can do with Qatar and Sir Jim before an exclusive bidder is chosen. I think the pressure is coming on for the Glazers to choose an exclusive bidder, but the Glazers aren't worried about, we have a deadline to choose the exclusive bidder. In the Glazers' mind, they don't have a deadline to choose an exclusive bidder. They'll take as long as they want, which makes it particularly frustrating. Thank you very much for the super chat. There's no contact between Amrabat and United. Potentially United have had contact with Amrabat, but there's definitely nothing between United and Florentina, as I said earlier. If Amrabat comes in, surely have to see 2 CMs go. I think Donny will go and Fred will go, and I think McTominay will stay. But I think, I think Donny and Fred will go and McTominay will stay. But I'd be selling McTominay if I thought we smash. Because No, it's just some kid. Because McTominay, we keep talking about FFP this, FFP that. You know, United love to go on about FFP this and that. If we need to raise money for FFP, then McTominay is going to get us the most money. It'll be pure profit as well. Well, West Ham signed McTominay now after departure of Rice. McTominay's a Souček, not a Declan Rice. Potentially they will, but I don't think McTominay is a Declan Rice replacement, is he? But they definitely like the player. Amrabat previously played with Ten Hag at FC Utrecht. It will be another signing Ten Hag wants for sure. 100%. That's what we spoke about in the video earlier today. You know, having played with Ten Hag before, having worked with him before, Ten Hag likes a player that's worked with him. Amrabat does seem like a solid bench player. 100%. I think he'd be a good Fred replacement as well. McTominay and Fred must leave. I would push McTominay out before I push Fred out. I'm not going to lie to you as well. But I do think Amrabat will be a good signing, but it might depend on who we sell. A midfield of Amrabat and Casemiro would show more bottle in away matches. Yeah, the thing is, like, I think Mount, Bruno, Casemiro, great. Mount, Bruno, and Casemiro at the Etihad, no thank you. We'll be shipping 6 goals again. And I think that's why you need someone like Amrabat to potentially come in and help as well. But I do think United need to sell McTominay 100%. Hi Ellis, how are you utilising the off-season? Do you think Glazers out movement are suddenly toned down? I think because we know the club's like to be sold, of course. But I think the fact that we got the mega store closed on the first day, you know, got to give it to them. You know, people are still protesting. I think, look, all we got to do is keep protesting, because if we keep protesting, it brings attention to it. Police have to come out and use their resources, which adds frustration. So when we protest, the fact that they banned Glazer out banners from Old Trafford is definitely impacting them. What we really need to do is we need an absolute billionaire United fan. If Sir Jim's a real United fan, he could do this. Send like 2,000 United fans to Tampa Bay, Florida, get them to protest at the Glazers' house. Maybe we'll see something happen. But the problem is with America, they'll probably just come out with some guns, so it might not be safe. Should have been done in March, Alice. 100%. The takeover should have been done in March. I'm with you. We're on 300 likes, guys. So keep smashing the like buttons as well. Keep subscribing. And Højlund and Onana and Amrabat will be a decent window. It will be. I would replace Højlund for Ramos or Kane, but still very decent window. I think Højlund's a great player, but he's a little bit raw. But then we signed Martial at 19, and under Van Halen, Martial was pretty good that season. So we'll have to see with that. Fred needs to hit the gym if he stayed. I don't think he really does. I think Fred is fine. I'd say if I thought a player needs to hit the gym, and I think all our players are fine. What used to annoy me? People used to call Luke Shaw fat. I mean, Luke Shaw has definitely lost weight, but Luke Shaw was just kind of stocky. That's just who he was. I think players just have builds, and I think most of them in shape. Sometimes I worry that Jadon Sancho is always a little bit behind in shape, but he got in shape towards the end of the season. It's been coming out just now that Justin, Andre and Onana wants to join United, and there's hope from United and Inter that the deal could be agreed in the coming days, as Inter are willing to compromise and lower the asking price. So that's interesting. Mate, we're going to do tonight, we're going to be going through the Mason Mount interview. We're going to be winding up some Chelsea fans and getting into the Mason Mount interview. Mason Mount, I've got a bit of statistics here for you as well, because we know we love to make the most of signing. We'll be positive. New signing, let's big them up. Mason Mount, for Chelsea player, Premier League ranks since debut. He's played more minutes than any Chelsea player since his debut. He's created more chances. He's scored the most goals and most assists. So Chelsea's top goal scorer in the last 2.5 years. Chelsea's top assister. This is why Chelsea fans are mad. Yes, he's played the most minutes for them, but he's actually been Chelsea's most impactful player as well. Someone says Fred needs to leave. I like Fred. I'd happily keep him for another season as a bench player. I would sell McTominay over Fred, but I do think, Fred for Amrabat. Amrabat's younger. Better deal as well. Justin, Man United ready to step up their attempts to land into goalkeeper Onana and reunite with Ten Hag. Yeah, lots of news coming in. Look, Onana to United, 100% the space to watch it, at the moment. Onana to United, I think things are heating up. I think things are getting interesting, 100%. And definitely the one to watch regarding Onana to United. I want to talk about a few other things as well. Really enjoying the Chelsea meltdown over Mason Mount. Can't lie to you on that. I think the fact that it's bothering Chelsea fans so much, considering when Havertz left, Chelsea fans are almost celebrating that they got 65 million. I think now that they're angry that Mount's left, obviously Mount's the academy player is a bit different. So to me, that's a real positive. Interesting news coming in here as well regarding Arsenal. Arsenal have now reached a full agreement with Ajax to sign Timber. Negotiations they probably got about £40 million for one of the best 22-year-old defenders in the world. So that is a fantastic deal for Arsenal, and I'm very jealous of that as well. Ten Hag's a better manager than Poch. I like Poch, but Ten Hag's a better manager. When we were linked to Poch and Ten Hag, I always said Ten Hag from day dot as well. Poch will definitely get all this favouritism from the English media. The English media loved Poch, and they didn't like Ten Hag. Do you remember the British media? Like, oh, United should bring in Poch, not Ten Hag. United should bring in Poch, not Ten Hag. Ten Hag came in, had a brilliant first season. He wasn't even nominated for the top 6 managers. He wasn't even nominated for Manager of the Season award, Ten Hag. He's very disrespected in the media, Ten Hag, in my opinion. So we'll see the media bumlick Poch. Poch could finish 7th and the media would bumlick him. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's an improvement from 12th. Ten Hag could win the league. Average, I feel like. But you know what? I saw someone's, I can't remember who said it today, but someone said something today and they said Mason Mount got a lot of abuse at Chelsea, but it's bigger at United. And you know, United fans, some are, but aren't necessarily as abusive as Chelsea fans. You know, someone said if Mason Mount flops at United, it's going to be the same as Chelsea. And someone else said no. If Mason Mount flops at Chelsea, he just gets the Chelsea fans on him. If Mason Mount flops at United, he gets the media on him. And that stuck with me because I thought that was absolutely spot on. It's true. The difference about playing for United is if you play for Chelsea and you're crap, you just have the Chelsea fans on you. Do you know what I mean? If you play for Man United and you're crap, you've got the media on you. You know, how much of the media were talking about Mason Mount's poor season? No one. How much of the media were talking about Bruno Fernandes? You know, last season when Bruno Fernandes was particularly poor and Rashford was particularly poor, how much of the media talk about them? Everyone. When Man United had a bad season, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Bruno Fernandes, the English players, the non-English players, they were under the cosh. Yes, Chelsea were bad. No, the media didn't talk about Mason Mount. The Chelsea fans did. I think it's true. When you're a Man United player, it's different because you're bad. The media are onto you. It's not just the fans. You've got the media against you because the media very heavily around United. I think United's the most media-heavy side, followed by Arsenal. The media, because they're jealous, we won everything for so many years. The media will always be the most critical of United. They'll talk about Antony. Oh, United paid this much for Antony. All right, you're not going to talk about Mudryk. Antony's better than Mudryk. No. You know, when you play for United, you've got the media on you as well. This is fake news. The bid was rejected. What's fake news? I mean, I said the Onana bid's rejected, and I said they're going to put in another bid and then come to a compromise. Martinez will come to be playing in front of Onana in goal as they were previous teammates for Ajax for 3 years, 2019 to 2020. Yeah, they were teammates together for about a year and a bit. So I think Martinez will be fine with Onana behind him as well, 100%. I think Onana and Martinez will adapt well. I think Varane will eventually adapt well. But I do think it's important to get Onana for pre-season so, you know, they can get used to each other and all of that as well. Eric Ten Hag is younger. Is a younger Sir Alex. Hopefully. I do rate Ten Hag. I think he's a great player as well. Arsenal got Timber. We're keeping him at Fridge. You know what? We should have sold Maguire and got Timber. However, if you sign Timber, you need to get a big. The thing is, if you're playing Timber, let's say we play Timber and Martinez as our centre backs, then you need Declan Rice, a physical presence in midfield to bring in the height because they don't have the height. Arsenal seem to be playing Timber as an inverted right back though, who would then tuck in as a centre back. So it'd be interesting to see how that works. But I think I'm very jealous Arsenal got Timber, to be honest. I think it's going to be a good signing as well. But you know what? I'll be honest with you. On the Mason Mount signing, the more I've read about it, the more I've thought about it, I'm actually quite happy with it. I wasn't happy at first, but I think with news coming out that Ten Hag will also look to sign another midfielder because I do think we'll have slight issues. And, you know, he wasn't my priority. I didn't think he's the profile we need. I do think Mason Mount's going to be a good signing. I don't think he's going to flop. I think he's 24, Champions League winner, 2 times player of the season at Chelsea, one of Chelsea's most important and good players. He's come for his off-the-ball reasons. He's come for tactical reasons. Ten Hag rates him very highly for a reason. I'm actually excited to watch Mason Mount play. At first, I thought, well, I don't want Mason Mount. I want Caicedo. But we signed Mason Mount now, and I'm not going to be negative. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to back him, and I'm going to go, you know what? I think this will be a good signing. I think I'd have so much trust in Ten Hag, and I think Ten Hag really wanted this guy. Ten Hag was really determined to sign this guy, and I think if we don't sign another midfielder, I'm a little bit worried But if we do sign another midfielder, potentially Amrabat or Lavia, someone defensively, I mean, Frankie de Jong would be nice. Then I'm very excited. But I think I trust Tenagi clearly wanted this player very highly, clearly has a big plan for this player. And I think, the additions of Mount and Onana, the difference they're going to make to the way that Man United play football, just remember that. Mount and Onana, oh, that's a bit of a crap transfer winner. Look what Arsenal are doing. Look what Chelsea might do. Look what Liverpool have done. True. But then when you think about it, how Onana and Mount are really going to impact the way you play, I think they're bigger signings when you really deep it and think about it than I think we first thought. And maybe Mount's signed, so I'm just going to come in with a way more biased opinion. But, I'm feeling positive, and I feel like we are going to get Onana now. I'd be shocked if we don't sign Onana. Everything I'm hearing, the Onana deal should be wrapped up within the next week. And then we can start going, Onana, what's my name? Onana, what's my name? I think the sale is dead. They're never going to announce staying. I mean, look, if they stay this silly, they've messed up 17 years. They don't even make much money out of the club. I think the sale will happen because it makes no sense for them to stay, but you can't rule out them staying. Amrabat and Rice, very similar players, but Rice 105 million, Amrabat 25 million. Rice obviously a lot better, but Amrabat for 25 million is the steal. 100%. I think Amrabat 25 million, absolute steal. I think, and I said this earlier. Let me find my tweet actually. Let me find my tweet. I tweeted something earlier. I think Luke Shaw's really underrated. Zinchenko's not better than Shaw. Ake's not better than Shaw. Davies is overrated. Hernandez is overrated. Just saying. Anyway, I said that, if Real Madrid got to sell, I was going to talk about this at the end of the video. I want to talk about United going in for Kane. There's a rumour coming out that United are going to go in for Kane in August, and that there's still a chance for United to Kane, and Real Madrid have to sell a player. I want Camavinga, Tchouaméni, or Vinny Jr. I don't think that's going to happen. But I sort of spoke about Man United maybe going for Kane in January, but this is what I wanted to get up here. I reckon it would be nice if I just did that. Oh, no, that's too zoomed. You can it's going to be Onana in goal. Let me zoom out one here. There we go. So how would you feel potentially about this squad is my question. How would you feel potentially about the squad? We've got Højlund at striker with Rashford and Martial as other options. Rashford left wing with Garnacho or Sancho. Anthony right wing with Sancho or Ahmad. You've got Bruno, Mount, Casemiro, and then you've got Amrabat to cover Mount in certain games where we're not going to dominate possession. And then you've got Amrabat to Casemiro back up if he gets suspended or injured or we need to rest him. And then you've got obviously Shaw, Martinez, Varane, Dalot, and Onana. I do think the additions of Mount, Onana, and a striker was going to allow us to play a much better brand of football. But then add Amrabat to that mix, and yeah, it's a really solid midfield. 100% really solid team. And to be honest, I think the business rivals looks to be better. But for me, Onana, Mount, Amrabat, and sign a striker. I don't care if it's Højlund, Kane, or Ramos. I do think that's a good window, really. I think it's unacceptable how slow we take to do deals. Kim and Jay should be a United player and Maguire shouldn't right now. I think that Caicedo is someone we should have pursued more. But if you get Amrabat in, I don't know. It sounds weird. Mount's growing on me. Onana's growing on me. We definitely need a defensive minded midfielder like Lavia or Amrabat on top of Mount. But I think if we sign Amrabat and a striker on top of Onana and Mount, what feels like a bit of a crap start to the transfer window makes me feel like it could be a good transfer window as well. Niall, thanks for the chat here. Not been feeling the best this week, but an Alice Talks video makes things so much better. Keep up the great work. Appreciate it, Niall. Thanks for the support as well. Saeed says we need a defensive-minded player like Caicedo or Rice who can play 8 or 6, not Mount. I agree. A striker, DM, goalkeeper, centre back, not Mount. We've only signed Mount. I agree. I don't think Mount was the profile we need 100%. I think we need these players now. Onana will be done. I think a striker, we'll have to see. Amrabat, and if we can sell Maguire and bring in a centre back, perfect window for me. Perfect window for me as well. When is Qatar coming? It's taking so long for these clowns to go. Who knows? It's just a guess. I think people are just guessing. People come out on Twitter. Oh, I've been told by this source it's next week. I've been told on this source it's tonight. I've been told by this source it's in 2 days. I think people are just lying. People just lying in the media. 339 likes. So keep smashing the like button. And of course, subscribe down below if you're new. 8.5 out of 10 people are saying as well. It'd be nice to move Maguire, buy and Tellers out. I also feel Sancho will be good this season. Ten Hag's open to selling Sancho if the right offer comes in, but I think this should be This is Sancho's. You've got to prove yourself this season. When other clubs lose a game, nothing happens. If we lose a game, it's like the sun has fallen through the black hole and Earth has been sucked into another galaxy. In the press, overreactions are insane. Yeah. When you play for United, the pressure's unreal because you don't have the fans that turn on you if you're bad. The media do, the press do. Amrabat's similar to Rodri. Amrabat could be better for 10 assists than Casemiro because he's press resistant. Is better than Casemiro's. He's nowhere near Casemiro's level, but I think, I'm not going to act like I've watched Amrabat outside the World Cup in the Conference League final. I haven't. I've watched him in the Conference League final and I watched him in the World Cup and he was unreal. I enjoyed watching Morocco play and he looked very good. But I don't know how good he is, but from what I've watched of him, he's very good. We do need 2 strikers. For me, if I was United, this is what I would do this window. I would, sign Onana and then I'd sell Dean Henderson. I'd sell McTominay. I'd sell Elanga, and then you've got the funds to get that Amrabat deal in on top of Onana and Mount. You've got the funds, hopefully, see if we can raise some more funds to afford Gonzalo Ramos. If we can't afford Gonzalo Ramos and we can get Højlund for about 45 million, go for Højlund. Call that the summer window, Højlund, Amrabat, Mount and Onana being realistic. Then January comes along. By January, hopefully Qatar, hopefully new owners. Kane could be available dirt cheap because he's out of contract in 6 months. So Spurs, if they want any money for Kane, will have to sell him in January. You sign Kane in January. Potentially, you get Maguire out in January if you can't get him out in the summer, and you bring another centre back. That's my realistic way of, United could do this. Realistically, if this was Dream, if this was FIFA, I'd be signing Gonzalo Ramos. I'd be signing Harry Kane. I'd be signing Onana, Mason Mount, Amrabat. Well, to be fair, I'd be signing Frankie de Jong instead of Mason Mount and Amrabat. And then I'd be signing Jurriën Timber and hijacking it from Arsenal. Or Kim Min-jae and stopping him going to Bayern. But Kim Min-jae and Jurriën Timber have gone. And Dika's also gone. I'd go for Thibodeau because that's the only one we've been linked with. That seems decent. That's what I would do. Tellers and Elanga are both wanted by Fenerbahce. Was it Fenerbahce? I think I said Galatasaray. My bad. Can we use Amad Diallo as temporary striker? Amad Diallo almost is best as a right-sided 8. Amad Diallo had a bit of an Odegaard role at Sunderland. A lot of people don't realise that as well. Right, people, I'm going to wrap up the live stream here. I'm just going to refresh Twitter and my news website just to see if anything's come out. Nothing massive has come out in the news. Nothing new, nothing super exciting as well. But yeah, guys, please do smash that like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. There might be a video about 10 p.m. tonight, so have that notification bell on. If any breaking news comes out, of course, I'll update you guys on the takeover, transfer news, etc. If not, thank you everyone for watching today's video. Smash a like, smash the subscribe, share the video. Should be back tonight to talk about Mason Mount's first day and some other news. See you then. Bye.